go to roof tools. Just click on roofs and see what options we have under info box. We have some of the most important options we have are these, the settings, of course, settings icon, and these icons that you see on both sides. So this is a set of group of group of some icons, and there's another group here. Here, this one will control again whether you're drawing a single core or a composite roof. Where you're drawing the roofs, what is the angle, what is the height of the eaves, what is the thickness and all that, right? And also the kind of a roof surface you want can be controlled here. Roof edge, where the roof stops on the outside in the overhang, how do you want this chamfer to be, whether you want it to be perpendicular or vertical chamfer like this or what. You can specify an angle also. So what we do is, we won't go into all those details for now. We'll just try using these tools here. The first tool that you get to see is called a single pane. If you hover your mouse on it, you get a tooltip which says it's a single plane. Single plane is essentially a lean-to roof. Okay. So I just want to check, are you able to listen to me? Are you able to hear me all? Just text on the chat window. All able to hear me? Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, okay, I guess so. So we are starting to draw a lean-to roof. Now, if you can imagine a lean-to roof, you can imagine that to be a piece of paper, A4 size paper, and you want to make it look like a inclined plane. What would you have? You would have an edge of that paper, which you would keep stationed, right? And the other edge of the paper would be rotated about the edge that you have kept stationed. So the edge that you kept stationed is called as a pivot line. I can draw something. I have a noted tool here, so I can just try drawing things for you. So this is your roof. So this is going to be an angle here, right? So this is called as a pivot line because it's stationary. And the other edge is rotated about this, right? So this is going to be the angle, and this is going to be the slope. All right. So while you're drawing that roof, there will be a little icon like an eye icon that it will show you, which essentially is basically which side do you want the slope. You want the slope to be on this side. If I put the eye cursor on this side, then it will draw the slope on the other side. Okay. So yeah, that's about it. So first it will ask you to define the pivot line. So we have to define it by defining 2 points. When we define 2 points, we get a line. And then the second option would be to define the eye cursor, which side you want it. And the third option would be to draw these edges. You'll have to draw the complete edges from point to point. Is this clear? So let's do it. So single pane roof, first point, second point will define the pivot line. Third step is to define the slope, which side you want the slope, which is this side. And then you have to define the roof boundary. Now, this is what this group of icons decides the shape of the roof. All right. So you want a polygonal roof, you want a square roof, or you want a square roof which is at an angle. So I will draw all of these. So I'll use the first one, which is a rectangle. So rectangle is, we can simply define a rectangle. The point doesn't have to be on the pivot line. See, look at pivot line as the eaves on your walls, no, where the roof is going to start on your walls, the eaves. And I can draw the roof outside of the pivot, including, so I've included the overhang as well for this. I'm defining it by just 2 points. All right. When I'm defining it, it has drawn a roof. And on your screens, it won't immediately show a dotted line. It might not show any roof because when you draw a roof, generally, it is drawn at a higher level. So we are on the ground floor and the roof gets actually drawn in the higher level. Fine. So all the cuts and everything you get to see here. But yesterday during the class, what I had done some changes. I had gone to the first story. Uh, I had selected the roof like this, gone to floor plan sections, tab here, and under this I had changed to all stories. Fine. And also I had changed this thing to overhead all so that the roof lines are seen as dotted. So these are the two settings that I've changed: all stories and overhead all. And that's the reason the roof is now showing on all the floors and it's showing as dotted. Okay. Are you all with me? Are you able to listen to me? Hear me out? Can anyone, any one person say yes? Yes, that's wonderful. So I'm going to get reassured every time so that it's not just me talking and you people are able to follow along me. Yeah. All right. So this is the roof, and if you want to draw, let's say another roof which has different shape, which is not square, which is a polygonal thing, then the steps are same. I may just delete this, and do the same thing again. We'll just draw the pivot line. And this time we'll use the polygonal, and we'll use it from this point so that we are precise. And yesterday somebody asked me to draw a polygonal shape, so pentagonal shape. So we can draw pentagonal shape like this. And this is where I'm going to end. The minute I hover my mouse over that first point where I started, see the pencil turns black. That means it is close to the same point. It's on the same point. See now, it says as a result of you drawing things, it has gone on a higher story. So just say okay. And then I will explain that same step again to you, how to put this roof on all stories. By going to floor plan and section, going to show on stories, all stories, project with overhead all only. So now we don't get to see the cut lines and all that was there earlier, right? So it's going to just show you plain outline of the roof, and then it's going to show it on all the stories. One other thing that you might need to change now are the slopes. Just when you draw it for the first time, the slopes are defaulted as 45 degrees, okay? And the slab thickness is also quite a bit, and generally this is also defaulted to composite. So you need to change this to a single core first. You might want to change the thickness to 120 or 100. Punch in a value and hit enter, and change the angle of this to maybe 25 or 22 degrees. You want to change the eaves height. Now, when you change this height, it will affect this pivot line. Essentially, this height is taken from the eaves. So eaves is this pivot line. Yeah, I can change it to 4 and see it's rising up, right? All right, I don't know how this changed. Right, so we have drawn a roof, and guess what? If you want to draw a wall out of a roof, you can use a magic wand and draw a wall out of a roof also. It doesn't have to be always the other way around, that you have the walls first and draw the roofs. I will also show you how to draw roofs quickly when you have a wall profile. You have a particular boundaries of walls, and you want to draw in the same shape as the wall enclosure. You want to draw the roof of that shape, right, with equal slopes and everything. I'm going to show you that next. But just imagine that sometimes you're working backward, you're drawing the roof, you want to have a specific roof, and then you want to draw the walls out of it, right? So let's draw walls. Click on wall and then just use a magic wand. Like, how do you use a magic wand? Is just activate that tool that you, whatever you want to draw, a slab, wall, or whatever, activate that tool, and then hold on your space bar. When you hold on your space bar, it will give you a feedback like this. That is the wall is going to be of this shape and all that. You can just go and hit click, and then see it has drawn walls exactly in line with that, right? Perfect. Now we need to fill in that gap, is it not? And we need to have some projection for the roofs also. We can do either of the things. First, we can draw the walls higher first and do the overhang next. Yeah. So, but I would suggest to do the overhang first and then draw up the walls, because there is no direct tool in Archicad where you can directly extrude these walls up to exactly on the underside of the roofs. But instead, there is a two-way. There is a few steps involved in this. You have to draw these walls, all of the height of this wall, well above the roof. So, for example, if this height is 10 meters, just imagine if this is 10 meters, then the wall heights will have to exceed that 10 meters. It will have to project above the roofs in order to then cut that portion of the walls going above the roof. So basically, it's a two-step process. First is to draw up the walls well above the roof, okay, so that it cuts through the roof. Second step would involve using this roof as a plane and cutting that extra portion of the walls. Okay, all right. So let's do that. For that, essentially, what is also very important is, if you need to cut, see, you're going to use the plane as a trimming object for the walls that are extended beyond the roofs. So for that to happen, you need to make sure the roof edge is not just in line with the wall. It is slightly more. It is projected a little more. What I'm saying is, this roof edge, for it to cut these walls, which are extending above the roof surface, the overhang has to be a little bit more than this edge. The roof cannot be on the same edge as the walls and cut the walls. It will never happen. It will always have to be slightly more. Okay, I'll explain you this. So we'll do that. We'll do both the things. We'll increase the height of this. Are you with me, guys? Somebody just say yes. Good. So I've selected the walls. I can simply come in on the inbox. What is it called? Info box. Sorry, and just change in a height here. So I guess this is like 15,000 should be okay. It's quite a bit. Change it to 12,000. Less. I think this is a little less, so it needs to go beyond this. So maybe 12, 13,000 should work fine. Yeah. So now if I try doing the trim, the step involves a simple step. The trimming involves very simple step. Just select the roof and just right click and just say crop to single plane roof. When you say crop, it works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. See, but it'll always give you some issues like this, like the corner is not trimmed because some issues here. In order to avoid such issues, sometimes it may be cleanly cut. Sometimes you might have issues like this. So best and safe way to do things is basically, or let me, one second, I'm undoing, I should redo things. Okay, what I'll try doing now is increase the overhang now and see if that portion of the wall gets automatically cut if we increase the overhang. Okay, so we have the roof selected already, and sometimes if you have things on the edge, you're not able to select. Say I'm trying to select the roof, but I'm not able to select the roof. I'm selecting the wall. So what is the way to toggle between this two geometries which are on the same point, same edge? Very simple. Just have to use shift and tab. Okay, and just hold shift continuously and loop through the tab. Okay, keep tapping tab till that element is selected. So hold shift and tap, keep tapping button tab, keep tapping button tab. Okay, then once you get a particular thing selected, click on it. Then that's how it's selected. What you can do next is, in order to increase the overhang, you can either click on these grid points that you see or on the edge of the roof while it is being selected. When you click on it, you have few options like this. You have a few options like this, where you have this particular option, offset all edges, is the one that we are going after, because we don't want to overhang it only on one side. If you want to overhang it only on one side, you could use this. We want to overhang this on all sides all at once. So, and you can be very precise in giving a distance. So I can give a distance of say 1 meter, right? So, and the roof is extended. See, nothing has happened to the pivot. Pivot still remains at the same point. I can move the pivot inside. But if I move the pivot inside, what might happen is the shape will not exact, this distances won't be same. The minute I shift things here, this roof also will get shifted. So for now, we'll just leave it as it is. Yeah. So we have extended this, and let's look at the result in the 3D if that wall area is gone. It's not gone still, right? So it doesn't work. Sometimes it might work, sometimes it might not. So what you might have to do now is, I'll show you another way. Instead of redoing the entire process, wherein I do the overhang first now, and then increase the walls. Yes, if what we did first was we increased the walls, and then we did the overhang, right? So what I'm saying is, instead of me doing the overhang first and then increasing the wall height, doing all that process all over again, I can use another method. What I can do is, I can select the walls, and I can take these walls back to its original shape where it is not trimmed. Okay. So there's this button called as wall cropped. You can get it to a stage where it's not, I can undo all the crops. You're getting it? So I've undone all the cropping. Now I can try cropping things again. So crop to single pane roof, and it works, right? Fine. I hope that you understand this. The other way you could do it is increase the overhang first and then increase the wall height and then do the trim, right? Are you all with me? Say yes. Okay. Any difficulties anyone have? Could you just like use this little annotate tool? You see a green tab on top where you get to see my ID of the meeting. If you hover your mouse over it, there is a button called as annotate, right? So little annotate, and under that you have little tools. So if you have any difficulties, if you're a little lost, uh, I suggest you just come and just draw something here so that I know, because I'm not able to see the chat screen here at all times. So I don't know who's asking questions and what not, but if you can just mark something like this, I know I have to stop and then attend to your chat text and then attend to it. So is there no question so far? Are you all following me? So yes. Am I too quick? Am I going too fast paced that you're not able to follow? Did you follow about this thing about cropping the roofs? Why one would prefer doing the overhangs first and then increasing the walls and doing the trimming, instead of increasing the walls first and then doing overhang, and both works. Only thing in the first option, what you need to do in addition is you need to just go to wall crop. Where is it? It's disappeared. You have to go to that little tool called, no, not the roof, sorry. You have to select the walls and wall crops. You need to undo this. If you have some issues like that, you have to first undo all the crops and then do that step again. So which is cropping to single pane roofs. Just say crop, don't change any of this. Yeah. Is this okay? We can draw a section through this and see how does this look like. So I want to draw a section precisely going to this point. So where's the section tool located? And I suggest you to practice this. Why? Because I'm just teaching you. I mean, this session has been recorded by Dhruv, so it's okay even if I don't stop by and allow you to practice. You can look at the tutorials later and then practice at your own convenience. That option is also fine, but you all suggest me because I believe in if you can practice this now, you're in the same time span, you're very close to understanding what have I done now. You could ask questions. That is the thing. You could ask questions and I can attend to it. That is a little advantage about you being live with me and asking questions there and there, sorting it out for you, which might not happen when you're referring to tutorials. And the good thing about tutorials is you can go back and forth, you can rewind, you can go back, you can halt, you can stop, you can practice. So both have the advantages. So you decide whichever is good. Unfortunately, Zoom doesn't allow us for the kind of time we might want to have that we get on Team Share, Team Viewer, because uh, anytime now in next couple of minutes, the meeting might just stop because we are well within that 40-minute limit that they offer us for free version. Yeah. Uh, and I saw something on their website that for this pandemic period, they have removed the limit. So hopefully, if that's true, then we should be able to continue it. Or if not, I will have to log in into another meeting, and all of you might have to log in back again, and it might take another half an hour to join. By the time you join, 40 minutes would be over, and I might got, huh? True. You got that notification? Are you sure? Oh, that's wonderful. So we crossed 40 minutes. Okay, wonderful. All right. So then I'll continue from here. How do you draw a section? You go to documents. The documents is a section tool here. All you need to do is uh, just draw. I mean, what I did was I held my mouse at one point, and then I like dragged it from that point. What's happening? 1 second. Do it again. So I dragged a point from there and it gave me an imaginary line, right? I can take it anywhere. And then click my first point, first node, sorry. First node, and the second node along the same line, and then point out at which direction you want to look this, have the section look at here. So I want it to be on this side. So we've drawn a section and that section has automatically come into this tab, right? Click on it, double click on it. The tab appears here and see what has happened, right? We've drawn a nice roof and because the span is huge, you're getting a huge roof height. And so let's say don't like this look and you want to make it like black and white, you can just go to this no over and just say simplify plan. And you get a nice dark peach black color hatch. Sometimes people might prefer this, and I'm going to have another tutorial. 1 second, I'm just allowing some more people in. So Neil and Abhishek, so I'm going to have another tutorial on the display aspect of things, how the hash should be seen and how you can play with this override. Override feature is a big feature in Archicad, which allows you to make things look in a way you want them to be looked at, like colors and hatches and other things. So for now, we'll change it back to no overrides. And so yes, so we have done a lean-to roof, and we can do a few things with this roof in terms of editing. For example, I want to increase this hatch. I have a veranda here, for example. I have slightly larger area. You have not drawn the slab. So let me just draw a slab using a magic wand first. Go to slab tool and use your magic wand, the space bar, and just draw it. You can use the outline or the overhang also here. I'll use this wall. It has drawn the slab. So how do you select anything in Archicad is by holding shift and make sure your that magnet should be on. This is very important. This magnet, if it is not highlighted, no matter. I mean, I will not. There's a slab here. See, I'm not able to select the slab now because the cursor is not getting magnetized to it. In other words, okay. But if I put the magnet on, I think the slab is not been drawn. Just see in the section. No, you just do it again. So slab, space bar. Forgot to hit click. Power stop. So because there's a magnet, I'm able to select here. If the magnet is not there, I'm not able to select. Okay, make sure this magnet is on always. Also, always make it a practice to use like sometimes magnet allows you to select things like that, but sometimes yes, you need to use shift, hold shift, and then select things. Always a good practice to hold shift in Archicad and select things. Okay. So we've drawn a section, and I was telling you, let's imagine we have a part of a slab extended here. So we draw a slab, and I'm going to extend the slab by clicking on one of its edge on this side. I want to just increase it on one side. So we increase this roof by on one side. So we have a little veranda, right? And we do the same thing for the roof. We need to extend this only on one side. So do it so. Uh, of course, you might want to do it the other way around, where the the roof height is less, which is on this side. You might actually want to do this veranda here, but so while you're practicing, you could do this. I mean, this is just for illustration. I'm showing you how to extend roofs and things. So we have increased the roof here. Actually, we're not able to see all of its parts because can anyone tell me what's happening? Why I'm not able to see part of this? That's because the section is up to this point. It doesn't cross the entire length of this. So we hold on the section and we like increase this well beyond that edge, and we need to make sure the elevations also are extended. What elevation is this? This is east elevation. So if I look at the east elevation here, see again it kind of chamfers, almost kind of splits that roof. So other way of doing things, instead of increasing this here, I can simply come to the elevation, and there are these little buttons here. You can actually move it here also, and the roof will increase. I mean, it will show the entire roof. Okay. If you go back to this thing, you can see it has been increased here. So that's a good thing about the IM tools. You change things in one view, it gets changed in the other viewports. So if you look at the section now, we have increased this, and of course you might not want to do the veranda on this side. You might want to do it on this side. Okay, just for the sake of this illustration, I've done this. Or you might have a balcony here. So you might have a veranda, you might have a balcony here. So how would you quickly draw a balcony? Let's say, for example, you need to draw a balcony. Actually, my intention was to teach you only roofs, but I'm going in all directions. I'm not sure I should do that. But for this example, if you don't know, because part of today's agenda is also to learn about slabs and how to copy slabs at higher levels. So we might deviate a little bit from roofs and do this part. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to add a slab here. So can anyone tell me how should I draw the slab on top here? I need a slab here, like a mezzanine, and then we can add a staircase. I've not covered staircases, so we can leave that for now. But the least we need to do is, let's say, draw a slab here. So how would we draw? So let's say we go to first story, and so the walls are still continued on the first story. What if I draw a slab here? So we go to slab, and all these things are very similar. See that there is this composite core that you need to change to single core, which if you don't do, then you won't be able to change the thickness of the slab, right? And what it also says, what this icon says is, you have to draw the slab. This height is always taken to the top. So this height is always, if it's 3 meters, it's always taken to the top of this, fine? And the thickness goes down, okay? Unlike for walls and all, when we draw walls, what happens? The wall height is always taken from bottom. For any other tools, whether you do a roof or whatever, it always takes bottom generally. But only in case of slab, it takes the height is taken from the top of the slab and the thickness goes down, right? And don't worry, this is not zero, it's not ground. Actually, it's because you need to see the actual height, what we are drawing the roof at, the slab at, because we're on the first story, is not zero. This is zero from first story. But if you want to see this height, as to at what height is it from the ground, then you need to change this to project zero. So when you change this to project zero, it will precisely show you height at the bottom, which is 2700. Sorry, the top height comes here. I'm sorry. The top height, when you change this toggle to project zero, this is the top height and this is the bottom height. The difference is the difference of the slab. Okay. So we need to make this to 2900 because we are taking a slab of 100 mm. This is in mm. So we've changed this, and then we can just start drawing things. Yeah, so we can now. You need to draw a slab. You want to draw a polygonal slab. So you need to select a polygonal slab. You can just put your mouse here. What have I done? Parallel to that wall, I just hovered my mouse. When I'm in the middle of drawing slab, I just hovered my mouse on top of this wall, and it just gave me an imaginary line. And when I took my cursor away from it, it tried to draw a parallel wall to that line, right? And then I can click here. See that again, I don't have to draw it up to this wall and then do an overhang. I can actually go straight up, right? And again, I'll get a parallel line to that line because this feedback is highlighted. And then I can hold a shift. As I'm holding shift now, it's all constricted to the same line. And as I'm moving things, I can point my cursor to this point. So again, what I'll have to do is, when I'm holding shift, I will again have to move my cursor on this line. If it works, let's see if it works. Let's see if this works. And then draw that line that way. See, it's working now. Perfect. And then join this slab here. If you look at the section now, we have drawn a slab, but this is pretty low. So you want to, because this is drawn at this height because the first story height is 2.7. So that's why it has drawn it at that height. But if you want to change it, you can change it in the section, or you need to change the height of the story. So where do you change the height of a story? People, if you know, go to design, story settings. And this is where you change the height. I don't know why it was changed to 2700. No, it was 3000 only. 2700 was the bottom height of the slab. 3000 only. But let's imagine you need to, so the first floor is at 3 meters. We need to make this as 5 meters. So this has changed to 5 meters. This has changed to 5 meters, and boom. So the roof has, the slab has gone at a higher level. Do you notice that? I don't know why this is coming at this point. Let me see. Yeah, that's because of a particular way we have cut this section. If we rotate this section, along this side, or I have one more section drawn from here to here, section 2, then we won't get to see that, right? Yes. So can you see this? It's very interesting. All right. So now we can go back to our roofs classes, and I've touched a little bit on slabs and also tried to impress upon you how if you want to edit a slab, the tools are same. You have the same overhang. Um, there's some other couple of tools which we have not covered, which we can cover right now also as we're doing these things. For example, if I want to add a node here, or I want to make a curved edge, I want to make this as a curved edge like that. I can make it as a curved edge, I can hold on to the roofs, and I can make it as a curved edge as well, right? I want to add a node. For example, I need to add a node to the slab and match this edge of the slab to this wall, for example. You can click on this and click on inserting a new edge. Can then put a edge like this. Okay. I might have certain different options if I click on the nodes, for example. See, we are not getting all of the options as we were getting earlier. We're getting options like fillet. We can do a fillet. We can move this, right? We have the chamfer option still. We have option to drag things, rotate things, mirror. You know how drag is essentially moving, then rotating, mirroring. You all know what it is. Elevate would elevate this point. So it won't be at the same level as the rest of the slab. And this multiply command, which doesn't apply here. And this option is the same as the other options we got. This is a different option. So if you want to fillet this chamfer, you can fillet it like, or you can chamfer it. If you want to apply to all corners, you can do that also. You just have to apply to all corners. Um, okay, let's do that and see chamfer fillet. It has filleted only this corner, but if you want to do it for all, say apply to all, and see what it has given. Okay. So the options that you get when you click on an edge are much different than what you get when you click on an edge, whether it's a slab or whether it's a roof. Okay. So those are about editing options. You can increase this like that and can give it a little a different look to this. Make it tangent to this. So I'm trying to make this curve tangent to the curve that I've drawn here. That's also possible. Yeah, you can see that, right? I can, if I want to put a skylight, let's say here, I can just subtract from polygon. So I can just define a shape here. And just define any shape. So this has now become a cutout into the roof. So if you look at the 3D, you got a little skylight there. So how did I do this? It's very simple. Click on any one edge or a point. You still have the both options. Just say subtract from polygon, and then simply start drawing, and then you get another pad palette. You can draw a curve. You can draw um, straight lines. You can use inclined lines. Close this off, And then you can look at the skylight. Just clear. People, am I going too fast? Say yes or no. No. Okay. So this is a skylight. This is the way you draw skylight. But let's say you want you have a weird shape. You don't have a kind of a thing like what is being allowed by this. This particular subtraction allows us to kind of draw things in a very limited manner. You can either draw combinations of straight lines and curves and other things, right? But let's say you have altogether different shape. In this case, I want to have some shape which is much more curved and organic for the skylight, let's say. So we'll do this using spline tool under more. So just draw some interesting shape like that and move it a little bit, maybe the center of this. And I can rotate it using the rotate tool. And then I can use Control D as a shortcut to move it again. And now we want, it's not cut still, yeah. In fact, you won't even see that line. In 3D, you don't get to see polylines, remember. So we go back to this, and what we do is we need to have a cut into this roof with that shape. The process is a little different. We select the roof first, and all you have to do is go to Design, click on Roof again while the roof object is selected, and just hold on your space bar. Just use a magic wand and just click on that edge. Right? It's done. Now, if you look at your 3D, it does a precise cutting of any other shape that you're not able to draw using subtraction method. Is this clear?